Last week, my parents and I went to the west of Ireland for a little sojourn. I brought my camera, of course. I do not travel without my camera. Sometimes I wonder if this is ethical. Not ethical in the modern usage, but in the philosophical sense. Is it wrong to document too much? Who decides what is and isn't to be captured? To what extent do I have the right to interpret my own life when it intersects so closely with the lives of others? I wonder about this often, especially this year, when I have truly started methodically capturing and editing as a sort of practice. I feel fine about doing it when I'm alone in my apartment, yet some things, like a beautiful week in the West with my parents, for example, seem almost too sacred to capture. It's like a blasphemy. On the other hand, I think sometimes about a quote I saw online once that read, "If you want to see what someone fears losing, look at what they photograph." In this sense, the things so sacred and important that they should not be captured are, paradoxically, the only things really worth capturing.
I feel a swim coming on.
Fucking hell, Varda. Wow. Agnes Varda has a documentary called The Gleaners and I. In it, she traverses France in a car with a digital camera. She, too, does not travel without her camera. In the film, she interviews gleaners or foragers, people who come to farms to collect mutilated fruits and vegetables in bulk, or who hunt for scraps after markets or forage for spare TV parts in dumps, etc. Some out of economic need, some out of frugality, others just think it's interesting. Treasure hunters, ethical, victimless thieves. In the film, she implies that she herself is a gleaner with her camera, stealing moments from time, stealing stories from humanity. As it currently stands, I don't think of myself as any sort of artist or anything. I hope to get there one day, but for the moment I'm a sort of student trying to work out what I want to say and how I want to say it. For the moment, the only thing I can truly call myself is a gleaner. Side note, all of the things I occasionally call myself are French, isn't that odd? I suppose it's because they have so many words that do not necessarily invoke genius or authority or anything, but just ways of being. Flâneuse, penseuse, and now glaneuse. 3 words that technically can only grammatically be applied to men, which makes them all the more fun, I think, because you're stealing or gleaning an identity from a language without its permission. But I digress. Irish poet on a stone wall, looking into the middle distance, thinking about coffee. I say Catholic emancipation, but I'll say coffee. Thinking about emancipation.
Thinking about cappuccino.
Yeah. That's the conclusion we came to as well. If I am stealing moments from time and people and humanity, does or doesn't that make it ethical? I don't know. But it may stand to at least excuse my behaviour, or explain it. The blasphemy of interrupting peaceful moments with family by introducing a camera can perhaps be justified when you realise I'm trying to make my parents immortal, or at least as they are in these few moments captured. In 2020 especially, that need feels great. In 2020, history too has become a gleaner, a hunter, a thief. Maybe it always was, maybe I just understand it now. I am compelled with a creative and nostalgic but also angry desire to steal my moments back from history, to capture these times and make them my own. Mom has advice about feeding horses. She said that you can't hand them something in your fingers because it'll bite your fingers off. You need to make your hand as flat as possible and then hold the flat of your hand out and then nibble it off it.
Yeah, I can do that, but I'm way too
Scared?
scared to do that. Okay. So I think I'll fling it at them.
In his book, Why I Write, George Orwell gives 4 reasons for writing: historical impulse, political purpose, aesthetic enthusiasm, and sheer egotism. I think the exact same motives can be ascribed to us documenters, us gleaners. Sheer egotism and aesthetic enthusiasm are fairly straightforward. I make things because I want to make them pretty, and I make things out of the appalling presumption that someone will want to see them. Then there is political purpose, which for me is to do with representation. Partly because I'm gay, but mostly because of my physical condition, the moments and terms of my existence are not frequently trodden fictional ground. It's a small, possibly quite irrelevant idea, but when I was in bed I wished there had been somebody a few steps ahead of me in my recovery, presenting me with a life I could reasonably aspire to. And then there's historical purpose. In many ways, the first three motives are about others, about making things pretty for others to admire or insightful so that others might better understand your mind, and who doesn't want to be understood? But I do not particularly care to be remembered. It's not me who I wish to immortalize. The fourth motive is for myself, in the years to come, watching my own videos back. Sometimes I wish I had filmed my grandmother or childhood holidays or the dreamy, lethargic moments of adolescence, times in my life that are now slowly losing their colour and definition in my mind. And that's fine. That's time. It moves on. It ravages us. And it's not that I literally want to immortalise anything. I know that's impossible. But there are people in this world who like to collect things. Seashells, stamps, postcards, magnets. I like to collect roads, smiles, evenings, skies. This year, more than ever, I finally understand how quickly the everyday furniture of our lives can disappear with a single bug, a single election, a single moment. I was not one of those who in their panic started hoarding toilet paper or cans of soup at the beginning of this pandemic. Rather, I started filming things. Hoarding the world, my world, the world I have known, the world that is rapidly changing, and the people I love most within it. And so, to my friends and family, I apologize. I do not mean to steal your moments, only to protect them from the careless hand of time. It's futile, I know, but it comforts me to try. There are those who I know not to film because they have asked, whereas others quite love to be photographed or gleaned. But hopefully this is a small consolation to those in between. If you are irritated with my interrupting your moment or gleaning your memory, remember this. If you are what I choose to photograph, then you are what I am most afraid to lose.